Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Omaha. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Brian David Marshall and Blue-Red Delver all around. There's a lot of it out in the field here in Omaha for Modern, and it is in the hands of both of these players, though I will say that these builds are not identical. Pascal Maynard has, he's playing more creatures. He's just got more threats than your average deck. He's got Delver of Secrets, Monastery Whisper ×4, only 2 Young Pyromancer, which is it's one of the better cards in the set, and then he's got a 4 of the other guy's stone.
So the way I would describe Neal Oliver is playing Blue-Red Delver. Pascal Maynard is playing Red-Blue Delver.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, you summed that up nicely.
Because he's got, in addition to the Monastery Whisper or the Young Pyromancer, he's got 4 Goblin Guides.
4 Goblin Guides, getting in the red zone and tussling, and just generally being faster than the creatures that Neal's going to be able to put out. But, as we've seen already, this matchup, BDM, gets grindy very quickly. Basically, the deal is this.
I believe the technical term is hella grindy.
Hella grindy, that is correct. That is the West Coast term. So here's the deal. The basics of this matchup are that the removal that the players have, generally speaking, kills everything, all of the threats that can be presented. Lightning Bolt kills all of the creatures on either side of the board, for example. And they're all playing 4 Lightning Bolts. So it's one of those matchups where, as Ben was saying earlier, you have to get every little bit of value out of every little card. Every little thing, like if you play a Young Pyromancer, you're going to want to do it when you can still cast another spell and try to get a token, just to wring out that extra little bit of value.
And in this case, you cannot try a Young Pyromancer out there on turn 2 and say go, unless you have a Gitaxian Probe at least.
Yeah, at least a probe, at least. And even then you might want to wait till like turn 5 so you can play it.
So meanwhile, Pillar of Flame took out the first Delver of Secrets.
Yeah, Pascal would have loved to play his Monastery Swift Spear first, but it's just too risky. You just cannot risk Neal Oliver turning over a Delver, getting in for 3, which is bad enough on its own, but then on top of it, you still have to deal with the Delver, and now Neal can protect it.
Right.
Now, as it stands, though, Pascal killed it, but Neal has got a replacement Delver here, so Pascal finds himself in a similar position as he was before. He's going to get a little bit of info, lose a couple life, and draw a card here. He sees Bolt, Snapcaster Mage, and a pair of lands here.
Blah, Bolt, Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah. I mean, Bolt Snapcaster is a game plan. Ever since Snapcaster was printed,
I think
Lightning
Pascal's
Bolt was
looking
like, hey,
for
friend,
another land here. I don't think he has a second land.
Oh no. Well, then that means he's got all spells, which means he has a lot of ways to deal with these things. Gamble, and he got there. Yeah. Steam Vents off the top for Maynard.
Dribbles down the third base line, it stays fair. He's on first.
All right, but the thing is, Pascal's life total is dwindling quickly here.
Yeah, and again, a second Pillar.
By the way, Pillar of Flame in the main deck here.
Yeah, we're missing all sorts of stuff. Like King of the Hill table, we got 4 Pyroclasms in the main here because of Young Pyromancer, because of this deck, because of Delver, because of Monastery Swift Spear.
Right, and I think that the thing people tend to forget about Pyroclasm a lot too is that sometimes it's just 1 for 1. Yeah, it's fine. It's 2 mana to kill a Delver of Secrets, even if it's been flipped. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Just think of it as a split card.
Yeah, sometimes it kills 3 of them.
Kill target creature 2 power or less.
Yeah, or kill all of them. Exactly. Now, Pillar of Flame, of course, works a lot better in this deck because it's cheaper and because it's aimed. You don't want to run Pyroclasm in the deck where it kills all your own creatures. So that's why we see, Magma Sprays, Pillar of Flames, that kind of thing instead. So we have a completely empty board so far. Just 2 Steam
Neal
Vents.
just throwing bolts at
Now wait a minute, but who
here.
wins the Steam Vents fight here? I need a judgment call, BDM. Pascal Maynard with his old school Steam Vents, or Neal Oliver with his new school Steam Vents?
Old school Steam Vents.
All right. I wonder if you're alone on that one.
No way. You get that nice little bonus from the Pillars too.
You can dome them.
Well, no, they're exiled.
Oh, they're exiled, right? Of course.
So that just is like making your it's like a sphere of resistance for Treasure Cruise.
Sure.
Yeah, your Treasure Cruise is gonna be that much harder to cast.
Yeah, a little bit. Also, Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah.
See you later.
Okay, so starting to get some momentum going here. Finds a Thought Scour.
Wow.
One of my favorite cards of.
Turns out the chat loves old school Steam Vents BDM.
Yeah, of course they do.
You were deeply
Of course
not
they
alone
do.
on that one. I like the new art though. It looks cool.
Whatever.
Look at it. I have a playmat with that on it.
How do you like that checklist card there?
Oh, just in case you were unclear about which one that might be, Pascal and his Sharpie have done serious work to make that thing indistinguishable.
What if we went to one of the artists here and had that custom done?
Could have been. And
yep, there's a treasure cruise.
I just looked at my watch and yeah, let's cruise the clock. It's time to go. Time to go cruising. So this BDM is the mirror breaker here. The treasure cruise is the thing that puts you over the top. Now, interestingly, Maynard's just trying to hit his lands, but he's going to here thanks to the cruise. It's a mountain.
Mountain coming into play tapped, which means
not even
for the Swift Spear.
Yeah, Swift Spear is nice here. He can trade it off for the.
He just draws a bolt. Yeah, he's actually like, I want you to bolt this.
Wow.
He's like, I'm at 10. I want you to bolt this.
Yeah, I mean, because if he didn't do that, then he gets bolted to the face and takes 2 from Snapcaster either way. So, might as well make him spend it on a creature.
Oh, Swift Spear of his own. Gitaxian Probe. He's like, what do you got? You got a lot of cards there.
Looks like a pair of Lightning Bolts, a pair of Thought Scours, a replacement Swift Spear, and there's also a Serum Visions to help him find more action. But Pascal Maynard, even though he's the one who casts a Treasure Cruise here, is in big trouble.
Yeah.
Bang. For ya.
Yeah. Within double Lightning Bolt range.
Yeah, now he's down to 6. Does Neal have any follow-up here?
It doesn't.
He's got that Steam Vents. May as well play it. And he's just going to ship the turn back. So Maynard's at a precarious 6, facing down 2 creatures that must be dealt with here at some point. And he's gone with the upside-down hand approach. You don't see that very often.
Well, he's just he's doing the upside-down hand for the cards that Neal Oliver has seen. So he knows, he doesn't have to make notes. He knows which cards in his hand Neal's looked at and which cards Neal does not have knowledge of.
I like that.
Yeah. Of course, his bolt goes to the graveyard upside down.
It does, yeah.
So, yeah, he does.
Is there a Magic card called Bolt Lightning?
He does a little bit of work there on. And then.
Oh, there's the finisher though. Cruise away.
He had to. He really had to tap down for that. So.
He's got one.
Is there anything that
Serum Visions
Neal can? I mean, that Pascal can do to punish him here?
No. I mean, it's all about Pascal staying alive at this point, and Oliver's at 12. He's not dying next turn under most circumstances here, especially with 2 bolts already in the yard.
A gross turn. There's another lightning bolt.
BDM, why didn't you teach me this upside down hand thing before? Why did you wait this long to tell me about this?
All your lands match. I assumed you knew it.
Okay, here's Serum Visions. Maynard draws the Sulphur Falls. He's resolving his scry now.
He's going to cast the Thought Scour.
I mean, it feels like he's doing a lot, but he's kind of spinning his wheels here. I mean, he is going to get in for a nice hit with the Swift Spear. Just don't know if that's going to be good enough. So he gets in for 3, dropping Neal Oliver down to 9. And Maynard has a follow-up play of a Delver of Secrets if he wants it.
His Delver of Secrets. He also has a young Pyromancer he can play.
Oh, he does.
And maybe you want to play that just to draw a bolt. Although I don't think it would.
It could. I mean, it is an interesting spot for Neal Oliver. Neal gets to untap now, though, after having drawn 3 cards.
Does not look like he had drawn a lot there.
He's supposed to have drawn a lot there. That's how this is supposed to work. All right, here's Monastery Swiftspear. Attack. It's not a must-block scenario, but it could get sketchy. Yeah, because the thing is that, you know, Neal played Treasure Cruise last year. Now he untaps, and he's got 3 or 4 cards in hand, so Maynard has to definitely respect the fact that he could just get him here.
He's got to do the bolt count.
Yeah.
If he has 2 bolts, you're dead.
But well, that's true regardless, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you don't play around that. So the question is, do you play around 1 bolt? And I don't think you do, because 1 bolt you're not dead. You go to 1 in that scenario. Okay, here's the Delver of Secrets now for Neal Oliver. He's got a mana leak in his hand. That could certainly be relevant here.
Right.
It's going to be tough for Maynard to actually kill Oliver here. So Lightning Bolt's not a bad one. Thought Scour first.
Yep.
That's going to net him a token. Yeah, this is going to be a good close one here. You know, Oliver wants to see his Delver flip off of a burn spell and just kill Maynard.
Pay for Gitaxian Probe.
Yeah.
The alternate casting cost, blue.
Yep. And that's going to show the mana leak, but that also means that Maynard's not going to be able to resolve that Lightning Bolt here. Unless he has a land drop to spare.
He does have a land.
Does he have a land drop?
He hasn't played
one. But it's a Scalding Tarn. That would put him to 4. I don't think the difference between 5 and 4 is meaningful here, though. Though if he just goes and gets an island, he can actually bolt something like the Delver, which is the biggest threat, and he can. Oh, he can't. No. He doesn't have enough mana still. Does he have a counterspell in his hand? He has his own mana leak, right? He has his own
mana leak, yeah.
All right, so he can bolt and then cast mana leak.
So he just gets in with both here.
Yeah, this is sweet. I don't think Neal Oliver is going to feel compelled to block. This doesn't kill him, though, does it? He's going to mana leak here, but that's going to get mana leaked back. Oh, and the mana leak's going to trigger the Swift Spear to make it lethal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice game by Pascal Maynard. He was constrained on mana, but that meant he had a handful of stuff.
Yeah, I guess the Lightning Bolt must have made it lethal on its own, because otherwise Neal Oliver wouldn't have felt compelled to counter it at all and let Maynard play another counterspell there. So he kind of ground through that one.
What is going on here?
Whoa, Randall Gay versus Matt Sperling have quite the board state.
It looks like I see a Lingering Souls that's in exile.
I do see that too, and I see the 4 spirit tokens as a result. There's also a Treetop Village, which looks like it's getting into the red zone, as well as a Siege Rhino.
Lingering Souls and Siege Rhino, that sounds like some kind of deck Tom Martell would love.
It does. But it's Randall who's playing it here, and right now Sperling has to figure out how to block. Now, one thing that this blue-red deck does not do well is block.
God, no.
Yeah, it is miserable on the blocks. But what can help with that are the Young Pyromancer tokens. You know, you can spit out enough of those to start making some reasonable blocks, but
there are no reasonable chump blocks on a Siege Rhino, unfortunately.
Nope. He can stack up a bunch of stuff and trade, but none of it really works out well.
That's where we're at here. There's also the Treetop Village.
You know, that Young Pyromancer sitting down there, I mean, you can trade off all these resources, just take a little bit of damage and trade it, and then before you know it, that Pyromancer can just refill the board, and all of a sudden you're staring down 4 or 5 more creatures.
One Treasure Cruise later.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with all those cards in the yard, and Matt having 5 mana available, he can play Cruise for just blue mana, and then cast, you know, all 3 spells if he draws them.
He eats both Tramplers, takes 1 point of trample damage.
I think Randall's happy with that, especially when you follow up with Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Tarmogoyf, hello!
Treasure Cruise off the top.
Looks like Matt Sperling listens to the stream, because he thought that was a good idea too, and watch this. Also, he's going to try, so now what they're doing is the awkward Tarmogoyf delving.
Oh.
Like if he can blank one card type completely from his graveyard, he will want to do that maybe. But even then, if it takes away an important card that he might be able to flash back with one of his 2 Snapcaster mages, he wouldn't want to. So
I'm going to attempt to get all the instants to be gone.
Right. And then get punished for it later. He's got to be careful, of course. Yeah, this is the part where Tarmogoyf loses a little bit of its luster, just because like Matt is now compelled to ask Randall, "What do you have in your yard? You know, is there any specific type of card that I can completely eliminate?" The reality of it is, though, that young Pyromancer does a pretty good job of keeping Tarmogoyf at bay anyway. Just the lack of trample just means that every spell he casts, it eats an entire attack from the Tarmogoyf, and that's not bad. I'm wondering. Life total wise, I'm not exactly sure where they're at, but if the Tarmogoyf just sits back, it just blocks whatever on the ground, and he just starts getting in there with his spirit tokens. I mean, look at the board right now.
Well, I think we're going to see a Fork Bolt maybe take out 2 spirit tokens.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why a couple of them didn't attack before. I think it just feels like looking at the board that those spirit tokens don't want to sit back forever here. You know, if you know you're going to play a Tarmogoyf anyway, the Matt Sperling's deck just cannot kill a Tarmogoyf.
Sure.
Like once it gets to 4 or 5 toughness, it's just completely, it takes 2 cards. Now, sometimes they do just go lightning bolt, and kill it, but I think you have to live with that.
You can just Chuck Norris fight it.
What is that?
That's, like in a Chuck Norris movie. Chuck Norris is surrounded by 10 guys, but only one guy fights him at a time. Instead of all 10 of them just rushing him. There's one guy comes running in, and Chuck Norris beats him up, and
that's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of the young Pyromancer plan. He's like, it
is.
Go fight Chuck Norris.
Well, 2 of those
the
spirit tokens just got Chuck Norris right out of the sky by the Fork Bolt, so that plan has disintegrated a little bit here.
And now
Goyf is going to jump in front of a Monastery Swiftspear, and I'm going to assume that it's a trade.
Yeah. He's like, this seems awesome for me.
This seems great for Randall. If this trade happens, we can't see the graveyards enough to know, but I'm sure that Sperling thought it through. But I mean, look at that. That was a 2-for-1. Tarmogoyf just ate a Lightning Bolt and a Swiftspear, and his Lingering Souls ate a full card, and it was only half of his Lingering Souls.
But if we're going to go by that half card measure, then Matt Sperling got 2 tokens out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So he did get something out each time. But it looks like we're ready to go back down to our main table, which is Neal Oliver coming off a top 4 at the World Magic Cup, and Pascal Maynard coming off a recent Grand Prix top 8 in Ottawa.
2-time GP finalist Neal Oliver. Technically, he made the finals 3 times, but he also won one of them. Worth noting that those are all unlimited.
Yeah.
He is, I wouldn't call him a specialist, but he's a strong limited enthusiast, I will tell you that.
Yeah, he is.
He's one of us.
He's 6-0.
And he's 6-0 here.
So.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Just saying, I'm wondering if
he played.
I
watched a lot of him playing at the World Magic Cup.
Yeah,
I was very impressed.
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't see him too much, but Owen did with the testing, and he earned his respect.
Yeah.
He said, Neal's fine.
Yeah.
When Owen says you're fine at Magic, you made it. You did it.
Right, you're thinking fine.
I'm like,
I'm just fine.
Yeah.
But from Owen, that's a rave.
It's about as big. That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah. If you look in, Owen's Netflix queue, Godfather is rated fine. So no action here at all.
Nothing.
This is.
Yeah, if you thought game 1 was grindy.
Does this change at all after sideboard? Do they get to
kick that recliner back a little bit and hang out with BDM and I, because we're going to be here for a little bit probably. Though we did see some explosive starts earlier into Delvermere. Turn 1 Monastery Swiftspear, turn 2 Monastery Swiftspears. That's not bad.
Probe you.
Yeah, he didn't quite have the big finish there, but he did end up winning off of it.
So basic lands for Pascal here.
So that could signal the potential for a Blood Moon at some point.
I don't think Blood Moon's very good.
It is generally
in
not.
This matchup.
It is generally not good at all. But we did see it get brought in against. There is a blue-red Delver version that splashes green for Tarmogoyfs, and it brought in for that. Yeah, Sperling brought it in. I mean, is it?
It's fine.
It doesn't seem good at all. They're like, turn 2 Tarmogoyf, go, and you're like, Blood Moon, and they're like, yeah, whatever.
So Young Pyromancer comes down, Gitaxian Probe is played, and the hand is pretty good. Bolt, Cruise, Fetch Land.
There's a Pillar.
And Young Pyromancer.
So I think we might see what we were talking about before. He might go like Young Pyromancer, play a spell or two here.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do.
That's what Pascal just did.
Crack a Scalding Tarn here for Neal Oliver. Yeah, this blue-red Delver deck, the most popular deck in Modern right now.
Yeah.
Very, very popular.
Yeah, I think same thing you see with Neal Oliver, where he's let his lands come into play tapped. He hasn't taken any damage off them. I think Pascal's just doing the same thing with his fetch lands.
That makes sense.
Just going to get a basic land, because this really just comes down to a razor thin margin.
Sure.
On winning this game.
Okay, Neal Oliver's just going to pass the turn back here. He doesn't feel the need to take down the elemental token.
So it's just going to be Pyromancer after Pyromancer.
Elemental gets in the red zone. Not going to leave it back to block the Pyromancer here. So he's got something else.
The values.
Is he just going to go Pyromancer, bolt your Pyromancer?
Can he, how many cards is that, 6 or 7? That's 6 in the yard?
It's 6 in the yard, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about going on a cruise already?
I mean, maybe. I mean, next turn he might be able to do it.
It's not a bad idea.
After a Pyromancer.
Yeah, especially if he can take down the opposing Pyromancer. I mean, he has to be a little bit careful here. He doesn't want to run into a Dispel, but I think you're going to run into that either way. He's got Forked Bolt also he could use instead of Lightning Bolt, but he's just going to pass the turn back, and now we're going to have a little scuffle here.
Oh.
Thought Scour, target me. So now that Neal's tapped out, it's time for Lightning Bolt. All right, Young Pyromancer down. And let's not forget to resolve the Thought Scour here.
These guys would learn to leave their box open.
What do you mean?
For the tokens.
Oh, sure.
Reach across, get the box, open the box, take the token out.
How about by the end of the day, I guarantee that they've done that. Spellskite out of the sideboard hits the graveyard there for Oliver, so he's not going to have that here, but interesting that he brought it in.
Yeah, we saw
Pyromancers.
We saw main deck Spellskites in the Splinter Twin.
Yeah, that's been a staple. All right, we have the first cruise.
And yeah, it's going to die. It's just going to give it a second. There you go.
Wait for it, and there's Pillar of Flame.
Just wanted to get a little bonus, like you said earlier, wants to get that bonus on his Monastery Swift Spear. So he gets in for 2 there, 2 tokens trade.
And the tokens end up trading off. All right, Maynard up a game against Neal Oliver, both players at 6-0. Both players on blue-red Delver, though Maynard's is a different version with Goblin Guides in the main deck.
We said almost a red-blue Delver.
Yeah, you're right. A red-blue
Delver.
Just
more...
Just Bernie. But still with Cruise, still looking to draw a bunch of cards.
Look that different. He's only got 1 mountain. He's only got 2 islands.
By the way, here's Cruise number 2.
Speed 2?
It's all starting to come together here for Pascal Maynard as he plays his second Monastery Swift Spear.
Yep, Fork Bolt that. Get in for 3.
Sure.
I mean, first of all, look at how much action we've had in this game, and how many things have just changed zones, right? Playing, drawing, getting out of your graveyard, just things moving zones. Both players have 3 lands. Like how much they've been able to.
They've also both played Treasure Cruise.
Yeah.
And followed it up with many spells. Yeah, it's just, you can see why this deck's so popular. There's a Wooded Foothills for Oliver.
But he has no green. He's not doing anything with that. That just gets him.
He's just pump faking that. Not even out of the board. He doesn't have like a Ancient Grudge or something. Nothing. All right.
No, he's smashed the
It just goes
smithereens.
and gets Steam Vents.
Yeah.
So Lightning Bolt to take down the Swift Spear. Again, none of the threats that these players play can actually survive against the removal that the other player plays. And here comes Thought Scour for
There you
Pascal.
see a Goblin Guide.
Did he draw one?
No, he flipped.
Oh,
he
I
flipped
see it.
by it.
I see it there.
Meanwhile, on another table, somebody's playing Urzatron. That's so crazy. But we're going to get a chance to look at that. That's on our turbo match. So we what's that?
They're done already.
And they're done already?
They're done already.
Oh.
So it'll be an extra fast turbo match.
Probe, what do we have in hand? We have Deprive, Snapcaster. Is that another Snapcaster? Tap Steam Vents. Oh, no, just goes and gets a mountain. Yeah, I mean, we talked about, the possibility that, Wooded Foothills, how hard is it to get a Tarmogoyf into the deck? But, Tarmogoyf's just, where you're both wanting to just Treasure Cruise all the time, Tarmogoyf's gotten a little worse.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's still good.
It's still good. I was saying, Old Goyfie has not been in the spotlight for a while, even in Modern here.
It just doesn't have a place in this. Like, if you think you're going to be playing this matchup all the time, and you really are incentivized to play Cruise, which you are,
it dents it, but you can still work it. I mean, have you seen how quickly these things refill the yard? You only need 3 or 4 cards in the yard to make Goyf bigger than anything they can deal with one card.
Yeah, I feel like you give up something.
You do give up something. You are right. It's not prohibitive, though.
Thing over there. Touching the top of Pascal's deck, a card kind of got flipped a little bit.
That's the thing.
I
know what you mean now, yeah.
I think they're saying shuffle your deck.
Card could have been revealed.
Right, yeah. He's like, do we know the order of your deck? Is there anything that we know that, he's like, there was this Serum Visions, but I've sacked a land since then.
Yeah.
It's fine. We can just shuffle. And again, I think this is just precaution. I don't think anyone even really saw the card. The card was just kind of tilted up, like a little bit of a lean-to there.
Okay. Well, looks like they got right through that. And here's Thought Scour as well.
Do you have any idea how much I love Thought Scour?
No, how much?
A lot.
Yeah,
it's like Man of War levels for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Mental Note was the original.
Oh, uh-huh.
And
why don't you start building a Modern deck, dude? It's really good in Modern right
now.
I mean, it's just a combo with Treasure Cruise.
I have it in my Modern deck.
You do?
Yeah.
With Vengevine?
Yeah. And Hedron Crabs and
oh, yeah.
Hooting Mandrills.
I'm sure you do. Hooting Mandrills? Is it sweet?
It's all right.
1 mana 4/4 trample is bigger than almost everything.
I think we cut the Hooting Mandrills from the last version and just put Delvers in.
Oh.
We have Hedron Crabs and Delvers playing side by side.
Which one do you play on turn 1?
Neither.
Oh, God.
Treasure Cruise. This is our 3rd Treasure Cruise. He Snapcastered that Treasure Cruise.
Mm-hmm. Something that people didn't know you could do right when it came out, but figured out quickly.
It's not intuitive.
No. You're not allowed to pay alternate casting costs on creatures that flashback. Or, excuse me, on cards that get flashback from Snapcaster, but it turns out that Treasure Cruise just reduces the cost. It's not a different casting cost.
Right. And you can also delve to pay for things like Athalia. So if someone had Athalia in play and you had to pay 1 extra for your Treasure Cruise, you could delve 1 extra card.
Oh, you can delve 1
to
more?
Pay, yeah. You could also, in like Commander, so we saw Thasiger, which is a delve card. That could be a commander. Paying the commander tax, you could actually also delve to pay the commander tax.
That's funny. So more Treasure Cruises here.
Just on both sides?
Yeah, it's just... now we're in the examining the exiled pile.
Exiled piles bigger than decks. It's like Fork Bolt, you and Snapcaster Mage.
Magic player in Modern Rebound. Your round 4 parries are going up.
And he's going to Vapor Snag it.
Round 4 parries.
Which is going to lose him 2 life, though. The other half of the Fork Bolt is going to still hit Neal, and he's going to lose a life from the Vapor Snag as well.
So all the basics are now out of Pascal's deck. All 3. Remove from game piles are just so insane.
All right, here's Serum Visions now for Maynard. Nobody's able to stick a threat. This is pretty normal for this mirror match.
How do you like the Pyroclasm sideboard card?
Who has Pyroclasm?
It's Neal Oliver. It's there in his graveyard.
Huh. It's interesting.
Here comes Swift Spear. And gets in for just 1.
All right, so Maynard finds himself slightly ahead on board with 2 creatures versus none, but he's passing the turn back to Neal, who's going to be able to kind of go off this turn probably. He's got a Young Pyromancer in his hand. He's going to have 4 mana left over after casting it. With all those cards in his hand, you got to figure he can kind of go nuts.
Yeah.
Spew out a bunch of tokens here.
All right, there's the Pyromancer. Start the chain.
Pillar of Flame. Make a token. What's the follow-up?
Spellskite.
Well, that doesn't make a token, but that will protect the Young Pyromancer quite nicely here. And from Pascal's perspective, that Spellskite is hard to kill.
I like the Spellskite quite a bit.
It's very difficult to kill. That's interesting.
This is just game 2. There's not a lot of time left in this round.
Yeah, they are not playing at a breakneck speed. They're not playing unreasonably slow or anything, but it's very plotting and not a whole lot happens. So Forkbolt, he needs to make sure that he targets 2 different things. He's going to target Spellskite and Young Pyromancer.
And he's just, I think, talking to the judge to make sure that if he does it that way, there's nothing. Yeah, I guess he found a way around.
He did, yeah. If you target one thing, then Spellskite can direct it, but if you have to target 2 things, you can't.
He's just casting another Treasure Cruise here.
Wow.
This one costs 2 mana. It's not very good.
You think this is a bad Treasure Cruise?
I mean, you know, you got a ticket price.
I'll take a discount ticket.
You got a ticket shop.
I'll pay a little extra to go on that particular ship.
There you go.
All right.
He's like,
Boat
yep.
of Gold engaged. He found a lightning bolt, so if he did spread 1 damage to the Spellskite, he can finish it off here. I don't know how concerned he is about it at this point.
But he can finish it off, and now he has Goblin Guide, and Goblin Guide can make its long-awaited debut.
There it is!
Feature match area.
Goblin Guide. Engage in battle. He's going to offer the trade. Nope, just the Goblin Guide. So let's get a reveal here for Oliver.
Oh.
Ooh, finds a good one. Not a land, but a bolt.
It always feels weird with the Goblin Guy now. You know, he's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna let you attack me again.
Sure.
I would like a free card.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, there's significant downside on old Goblin Guide, but most people feel that that whole haste 2/2 for 1 outweighs that.
Is this Snapcaster Mage? Yeah.
It is. So what is he going to hit here? Snag, bolt.
Targeting Vapor Snag. Vapor Snag's the token.
And gets the damage in, and he gets a hit with the token. Kind of interesting. And then he's got that Snapcaster Mage that can now block the Goblin Guide. Oliver awkwardly, or actually not so awkwardly, he can cast Bolt or Deprive here. So, no, that's actually pretty nice.
I don't know how much extra time these guys have. I don't feel like they're going to have time for game 3.
It doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't.
So so these guys run on a different clock than the players on the floor.
Right.
Because it takes a little more time to get them. What's that? So they've been playing for 39 minutes.
So they have 11 left.
Okay.
So what that means
they're
is
5 minutes behind the floor. The
well,
floor is
yeah.
like 6 minutes left for the floor players on the floor.
Right. So if Neal Oliver wins this game, they have to play that last game in that short time frame.
I mean, and that can happen.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we saw Swift Spear on turn 2, and well, that game didn't last that long.
Yeah. The awkward spot of, I don't know if I want to attack with my Goblin Guide.
But the question is, if Neal Oliver finds a way to win this game, are we going to get a reasonable conclusion on this match, or is it going to end up being a draw? In the meantime, the question for Pascal Maynard is, can I just kill him?
Oh, I can just, now I'll just take the Goblin Guide because I'm just going to bolt you, Snapcaster Mage with my bolt, kill you. Or just trade, yeah.
I guess he got enough information. Spell snare, though. That's pretty nasty for Maynard.
We know there's a Deprive.
And there's a, oh, that's true. Bolt you, Pascal Maynard. Go to 2. And with a hard counter and Deprive in his hand, Neal Oliver looks like he's going to be able to flash back that. He's going to cast Snapcaster. It's going to get snared, Neal Oliver's going to play Deprive, and he's going to be able to kill his opponent. He might do it on his upkeep.
That's what he's doing.
He does give him access to more mana doing it this way, but in case he does have both answers that he needs, he's going to tap him out for his turn.
Yeah.
And looks like Maynard already knew.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, he must have seen that earlier.
So
and
now we're going to show you Turbo Magic. Now we're going to show you Turbo Shuffle.
That's right, and you can see the urgency. Do you see Oliver looking around for the clock? And I saw Pascal.
And you know what the
sit
judges
up.
do is they move the clock away from you when you look. When you start looking like that, the judges just hide it. They're like puppet masters. All right, Neal's going to his board. I wonder what. One of you actually just go to a more aggressive.
Try to slam the door.
Yeah.
I mean, after they've done sideboarding, they're going to have 7 or 8 minutes.
Things like Spellskite just seem
too defensive.
Too defensive, yeah. Like you're like, if I'm going to win this.
I mean, the thing is, Spellskite eats 2 burn spells and keeps your young Pyromancer alive for a turn and a half. Like, that could be it. Looks like both players are already ready, though. I wonder if Neal is asking him, can we finish the match? You know, just like, do you think we can actually do this? I mean, we know that the decks are capable of draws that can, but again, the weird thing about this particular mirror is just how well the removal matches up against the opposing creatures. You can have mirror matches with decks that can't do anything. You know, it's like, oh, we're playing a mirror match. Play a Siege Rhino. I don't have anything that kills that. Yeah, well, play your own, I guess. But this isn't like that. The bolts just kill everything. And under the board, it gets even worse.
I heard multiple people say that Lightning Bolt is the best card in Modern.
It's just the best card ever, man. Let's just admit the dang thing. Somebody asked me on Twitter what I thought the card that had been resolved the most ever in Magic, and I just guessed Lightning Bolt first thing.
Yeah, it seems.
I don't know if that's true.
That seems perfectly reasonable.
Rashad says he thinks it is.
It's a common, so you get to factor in the limited matches.
Yeah, and it's been around since Alpha.
Yeah.
And it's super popular, and it doesn't just get played by people that like to play red, like control players, and everybody plays Bolt. You know, I have 4 beta, like near mint beta Lightning Bolts at home. I just keep them on my desk. I just shuffle them. They're gorgeous. I saw Owen Turtenwald last week. He had brought some with him to Denver, where Christopher Rush was there. We've actually got, and he signed his bolts. They look great. But we've got 7 artists here. Jeez. If you make it out to a GP, you know, when we roll around your area, or maybe if you get on a flight and come out, as Neal Oliver goes to 5 cards, you'll often find popular artists that will sign your cards, and you can shake their hand and say, I love what you did.
And they're selling original art. Like, the original art to Ponder's here.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, let's do this. Yeah,
they
sell
hang it next
prints.
to my Deep Analysis original art.
What?
Yeah.
Like with the Masticore, on the table or whatever?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just hang up the Ponder art at my house. And that way when we visit, we never feel far from home. All right, here's 5 cards for Neal Oliver. Pascal's kept his 7. So this is a big one here for Neal. I mean, he's kept, and I do see the pace has immediately quickened here.
Oh, yeah. Thought Scour.
So players are going to start doing this whole momentum thing where we call it, you know, just get through their deck, right? And the question is, though, who finds the right threats and when? Oliver has a lot less to work with, but he's going to be able to find specific cards. And as we know, Treasure Cruise can just bail you out.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, Pascal Maynard has to absolutely stop Neal Oliver from Treasure Cruising, because if Pascal just sort of stays at parity, he's up 3 cards. Like,
right. By the way, I call that velocity when you're talking about, like,
velocity. Yeah, that's what I was
when you're
looking
ripping
for.
through the deck.
I love that term.
Yeah.
And this deck has the most velocity out of any deck in Modern.
Yeah, I mean,
like half the cards are either free or 1 mana draw a card. Serum Vision, Thought Scour, Gitaxian Probe, they just tear right through.
Yeah. Yeah, velocity to me describes the idea of cards changing zones, just constantly changing zones and gaining like some incremental value, drawing extra cards, looking at extra cards.
Right.
You know, being able to make these decisions.
And this deck just tears through the library.
We saw 6 Treasure Cruises
Yeah.
cast last game.
Yeah. And that and all that velocity leads up to it.
This would have been a fine time for Pascal Maynard's Goblin Guide to show up on turn 1.
You know, that could have helped
Oh, there it is on turn 3.
It's a little late. It could have helped
It's still
unmulligan
fine.
Neal.
Yeah.
So
Or it could
reveal.
have, yeah.
Reveal. Did he forget to reveal?
I guess he knew what it was from Serum Visions.
Right, okay, but he actually has to show it to Pascal.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how that works, because sometimes it makes Goblin Guide better. You know, that you get to see what's going on too. Is this a threat? No, so no threats from Maynard. He really has had a hard time coming up with
He
threats.
just found a young Pyromancer.
Yeah, if he had that,
and kept 2
both
cards
on top? Ugh,
Yeah.
that's alarm bells for Neal Oliver. Now, I can tell you that our main area of the tournament is now past the 50-minute mark. But that does not mean that these players probably have about 4 or 5 minutes left.
They were 5. They had 5 more minutes.
They had 5, so they have about 3.5
minutes,
minutes left then. Okay. And then the 5-turn rule as well. So far, nobody's been able to stick anything, and that's what we're going to see. What I expect is for Maynard to play a young Pyromancer and then try to play 2
bing,
spells.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, just play 2 spells or 3 spells after it, and just try to build up a bunch of tokens to attack Neal Oliver with.
Yeah, Neal's still pretty constrained here. Draws a Delver Secrets.
Here's another Goblin Guide. Now, what turn is this? Is this not turn 4?
This might be turn 5. I don't think.
Well, Pascal started this turn with 4 lands in his hand. But didn't he play Goblin Guide on turn 3 last time? Remember we said, here's a turn 3 guide? But I don't know what, I think something might have be weird there. Anyway, it's too complicated for me to try to figure it out on the fly here, but he didn't play a land that turn.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Neal Oliver's trying to figure out what to do. He's going to play his Gitaxian Probe, and he's going to see 2 burn spells. So any threats that Neal tries to come up with aren't sticking, but if Neal can get rid of the Goblin Guide and the young Pyromancer right now, he can take off a lot of the threat that he's under. Well, he gets rid of the Pyromancer, and he treasure cruises. So this is actually, moving nicely forward here for Neal.
But I think it's just moving towards a draw. I don't think Neal can recover and look at that. He even gets out from under his double mulligan.
You don't think Neal can kill Maynard?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to.
He's only got about a minute and a half.
He's only got
here.
1 red source.
Yes, that's a good point, BDM. And those Goblin Guides, I mean, they each take a card each.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to get a 2-for-1 with the 4-pole
Well,
here.
he might. Again, he has 2 Pyroclasms.
I think he brought those in.
We had them in last game.
Oh, so then he does have 2 Pyroclasms.
Yeah.
There we go. Now that I'm really curious now, can Neal Oliver find a threat?
By the way, Neal is up cards.
Turns.
Way up on cards at this point.
Thank you, Treasure Cruise. Now, can he find a threat? Not really.
Yeah.
That's just going to get snapped off by Pillar of Flame on Pascal's turn. So that thing's going to go away.
Pascal's drawn a 3rd Goblin Guide.
Okay, that'll help. But remember, Neal hit double land last turn off both Goblin Guides, drawing himself 2 cards.
Yep, and gets another one.
Oh, he let him trade.
Yeah. He took the. He let him trade, and he took the trade. He's like, I know you have a bolt. He's like, I know you have a bolt.
Wow, I wonder why he did that. What is Young Pyromancer? Oh, is this another cruise?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that was strange. Like, if your Pillar of Flame isn't killing Young Pyromancer, what in the world is it killing? Like, that you're happier with him? Okay, time has been called. That means that this is turn 0, and we will be going to turn 1 on Pascal's turn.
We can slow down now.
I think so. Well, that too, but also, how in the world, even with 7 cards in hand, is Neal Oliver going to get Pascal down from 16 to 0? I think you ignore this. Oh, he's going to pillar him and he's going to bolt him.
Yep.
Or at least pillar him. Just pillar you. So that's 4 damage to bring Neal down to 6.
He can do another 4 with the bolt in his hand this turn.
He could have. This is 4 damage.
He does, yeah,
okay. I was going to say, I think you just bring him down.
Right, and so what he's
you get
really,
him to 2 with that.
Right, so he's just hoping for like any burn spell, treasure cruise into.
Yeah, this is definitely good from Maynard. Like
Yeah, like if you guys are going to eat the whole round on your treasure cruise match, you better top deck a treasure cruise to find your burn spell here. This doesn't, you know, it's so funny. It does not feel on paper like this should be going to time.
No, but it's, I'm not surprised
it makes
at all.
total sense. Yeah. It makes total sense.
Yeah, when they can just kill everything each other does. All right, and that's that dice right there, that die right there is our turns, extra turns counter. Neal Oliver at 1. And he's fighting for a draw here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to feel like Neal Oliver, before last turn, was in a reasonable spot to win after having drawn 1 billion cards, but it would take a long time to do. And now, I don't know. Now it feels like he's vulnerable to any top deck here, any burn spell. If Neal Oliver has a card like Dispel.
Oh, there it is!
No.
Treasure Cruise! Right
Jeez. He's going to keep all his burn spells in there in case he draws
because he draws a Snapcaster, yeah. 1.
Nope.
2.
Another
3.
Treasure Cruise. Ah, and there's
The
Pillar
last
of Flame.
card is the
And
pillar.
it's a sorcery too, so it can't be dispelled. And Neal Oliver's going to pick up a loss, and you see him kind of give the eyebrow like, whoa. And wow.
Pascal Maynard's like, my only chance here is to fling these matches at you and hope I draw something.
Yeah, I mean, he did that right. Like, it looked like he wasn't going to bolt on that. I'm just like, I think you just bring him down to 2 and hope to open up, like, basically any spell in your deck that does damage would kill him. Where if you leave him at 4, it's like, it's much more awkward because you might not get in again with your Swift Spear, right? That one extra point of damage.
Well, imagine on 4, he draws the Treasure Cruise there, and then he's just like, I need a bolt.
I pillar you? Yeah, it doesn't do much, right? And, like, we got turbo ready? Okay, let's go to the turbo match right now. All right. Court Shoot versus Lewis Kaplan here. And this is not
so I assume
a blue-red Delver Mirror, I will tell you that.
I'm trying to see what Lewis is playing.
Well,
it looks like he's playing Pod.
He's playing Pod, right. We see the Birds of Paradise there. And then Court is on
there
Tron.
was a time you could be playing Birds of Paradise and be playing something else.
I see 2/3 of Tron. Okay, that wasn't it, but there's the main deck Pyroclasm, just to kill the bird.
Yeah, 4 main deck Pyroclasms.
Yeah, that just does work in this format. I kind of like that.
Scavenging Ooze is immediately
just chomped
cashed
up by the
in
machine.
For, it looks like an Eternal Witness. Yep, to get back Scavenging Ooze.
Ye old value. And why not? Rip a Mind, play a stupid Worm Coilage on turn 4.
How do you really feel, Marshall?
God, this deck. Who did this?
Ooh, Glenn Alendra.
Who should I blame for this?
I think it's Aaron.
Aaron Forsythe?
Aaron Forsythe.
I blame Aaron.
He loves this deck.
He loves it. He's probably cackling at home now.
Sylvan Scrying exists so Aaron Forsythe could complete his Tron. He designed that card so he could complete the Tron.
It does a very good job of that, so at least he did a good design. All right. Oh. Whoa, what is going on? Oh, Kiki Jiki! He comboed off. Take that, 2 worm coil engines.
He's like, can you gain infinity life?
That was great. I haven't seen this version in a while.
Right. So what happened there was he birthing podded into Zealous Conscripts.
Yeah, so the key that he can do is he played, what's it called? Image.
Right, Phantasmal Image.
Phantasmal Image, which gets really interesting because you can search up, like if you have a 2, you can search up like a Deceiver Exarch with it. You can untap your pod.
Right.
You can resack and go again. And that's how you're able to do it.
He copied the Archmage, made it so it battles a 4.
Yeah.
He sacked it. It comes back as an Archmage again.
Right, so he sacked the Archmage twice. Right, so he sacks Archmage, gets Zealous Conscripts, copies, untaps his birthing pod. Glendalundra Archmage comes back, sacrifices
with the counter.
With the counter, sacrifices that,
To
gets Kiki Jiki,
and then goes off. Yeah, it's sweet. That version we haven't seen much. It's really fallen out of favor.
It's really gone to like just a fair value version.
That's the one that we see the most of now.
Fair value pod.
And if you're going to do something broken, it usually involves like Spike Feeder now.
There's your Sylvan Scrying.
Well,
you don't feel so bad about that?
Well, yeah, no.
You're a little less salty.
You need green mana for that. Also, no, I feel great. I was Justice. Because this guy's going to have turn 4 Tron again thanks to that map. And that other map.
Except Aven Mind Sensor.
Oh, even Mind Sensor. Oh. Was he able to crack the other one in response?
Yeah, he was.
But he didn't get... Why does he have 2 power plants and 2 mines? Where's the tower?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he...
Did he just try to crack them both and get got? I doubt that.
Did he?
That's just not how that normally goes. But I mean, he gets to search once, right? Like he searches, guy says, Mind Sensor, he says, okay, I'll search, I'll crack it in response.
Right.
Now he's got 3 power plants and 2 mines. Oh man, Lewis Kaplan's like, this is the best.
He's like, I've got a Gavoni Township. How's this?
Yeah, so Gavoni Township going nuts. Combos nicely here. Although the Wall of Root's still not able to attack, which is a little bit annoying, but even Mind Sensor's getting in for a pretty big hit here. 4 damage.
Deceiver Exarch into Glendalundra Archmage.
And he's seen enough.
He's like, I'm dead.
Wow.
So we have